right, let's do it. I'm here with Alonzo. Cheers, brother. So glad you could be the first one on. Excited to have the podcast going. And of course, what better guest to have on than Alonzo? So glad you could make it. How was the drive here?
Pleasure to be here, man. The drive was smooth, actually. It was only like 12 minutes or whatever, but, you know.
Yeah, not too bad.
Real smooth, yeah.
So I guess let's start in the beginning. So we met at ISU.
Met at ISU.
And you have a better memory than me, so do you want to give like a better retelling? From what I remember, you lived down the hallway, had a soccer ball, and of course, yeah.
Yeah, so I actually tell people this story a lot, kind of how I even learned like the little soccer tricks that I know or whatever. But yeah, I had a ball. And because you live at the other end of the hall, what we used to do is we would be in the hallway and we would just try to make a pass, like straight down the hall.
Without hitting the wall.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
We would do that.
You wonder, like, what if you never had that ball?
That is true.
Although then we ended up playing volleyball. There was volleyball right there, yeah.
That is true. And then we also connected with Smash too. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That was
crazy actually.
Yeah, and that was what, 8 years ago? 10? No.
That was what, 2014.
Oh yeah, true. It was like 10 years ago. That's crazy. So yeah,
That's it.
known each other a decade, and you lived at ISU or like in Bloomington Normal for a few years after, right? So how long was that?
Yeah, it was probably like, I don't know. It was probably like 2 or 3 years, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, 2 or 3 years, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so not too long, but you know, it was time to get out of there.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So what's been your overall experience living in Chicago now?
Well, one, I'm close to family.
Mm-hmm.
The family that I, do see, and I think overall it's been very pleasant actually. Especially because, I grew up in Chicago until, I don't know the age, but until I was probably in like 6th grade. So, I don't know. It just kind of brings back memories in a way. Especially because, I don't know, I was so many years removed from this place. And I love it now. I love seeing the people. I love it when it starts to get warm and everything.
Oh yeah, you can't beat it.
I'm looking at like, wow, look at all the people out now. So
yeah,
it's exciting, man. I love it. So,
yeah. And you're living with Ashley now.
right.
Who you met at down in Blono.
Yeah. We were working at Kohl's together. Yeah. So
getting that Kohl's cash.
Yeah, Kohl's Cash was it's a big hit. I didn't know anything about Kohl's Cash, so I started working at Kohl's, and let me tell you, it's a big hit.
It's like the OG Bitcoin if you think about it.
It's crazy because they're giving it to you to spend money there.
Yeah.
But people don't care. They're like, oh yeah, we get the Kohl's Cash or whatever. So
Right.
yeah, it was great. But yeah, no, we met at Kohl's. I think we saw each other in the break room or something like that. I forget how it started, but obviously we knew of each other. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was the thing. But yeah, Kohl's.
Yeah, and then so she's at home right now, but I guess as a quick shout out to her, well, first of all, great volleyball player. It was a ton of fun getting to know her through the volleyball season. Are you guys doing that this year?
We actually are on 2 teams this year.
Oh.
So, yeah.
What's the commitment looking like time-wise?
We have, the Monday slot for the team that we played on last year.
Okay.
And then Tuesday is our coworkers.
Oh, okay, nice.
So that one's only like 6 games, so not too bad.
North Avenue as well?
Yeah, it is North Avenue. But it's still 2 days now. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see though. I'm excited.
Yeah. So I guess as a shout out to her as well, I guess what's one thing, getting to know Ashley better, what's one fun or maybe surprising thing about her that you wish more people knew about Ashley?
It's funny you say that because I was trying to think of something that, I don't know, I would say is surprising. Well, actually, no. Keeping on the topic of sports, at her school, she's in the record books for the most score points for basketball.
Oh, she played basketball? That doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
Yeah, she was a multi-sport athlete. She's kind of like a natural at everything.
I remember you made that TikTok for her where she was
Oh, the football.
yeah, the football. Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna need to share that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure that goes viral. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's
She's got some hands.
yeah, I think that's something that is cool for people to kind of know that. Yeah.
And you guys have played basketball together?
Oh yeah. I mean, she's still gonna match me for that. But I mean, yeah. No,
She's like a no Caitlin Clark.
yeah, no, nothing like that. But I don't know. She surprised me because she shoots with both hands.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, actually, yeah. So, and that's not a skill that a lot of people have. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't actually pick that up until later on in life, where I was like, oh, let me just start trying to learn how to shoot with my left hand. But she's been doing it, I guess, all her life. So,
Yeah. You got that form down. It's like the RDC Worlds kit where they foul and they're like,
oh yeah,
yeah, ball don't lie.
Uh-huh.
And then they're like, they give it to their white teammate, and he's got the form down. It's perfect. They're like, shoot that three. And then, see? And then they just keep fouling back and forth. You get the form down.
Yeah.
The form matters.
that is very true. I actually try to just mirror it from my right hand to my left hand, and it kind of works. So, but yeah, she's a baller.
And then, so growing up, I know you mentioned you were in Chicago until like 6th grade, and then moving out to, the suburbs.
Yeah.
Were you there with Joe, your cousin?
Yeah. So when I was younger, they actually moved before I moved. So they probably moved around like I think he was in 2nd grade, and his sister was in 1st, I believe. And so what I would do actually is, as I was still in Chicago, I would go and I would basically spend the summer with them out in the suburbs.
That's your boy,
Yeah,
Slow Joe. Shout out to Slow Joe, yeah.
Soul Joe. And we were pretty much like I don't have any siblings, but I mean they were basically brother and sister to me.
Right.
So I mean we did a lot of stuff together, and I don't know, still to this day. I mean we talk regularly. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Super fit guy, very athletic. Yeah. What's he doing now? Is he
So he actually has finally recovered from his Achilles tear. So he's kind of, I think he's still going through like physical therapy, but he's still on the ninja journey.
American Ninja Warrior?
American Ninja Warrior. Yep, he's been on there 2 seasons. He had to take a season off, obviously, because of the injury. So that was kind of like a little minor setback, we'll say. But right now, actually, he works as kind of like a ninja instructor at like a ninja.
That's sick. Yeah.
So,
Imagine throwing that on your LinkedIn, like Joe, American Ninja Warrior instructor, or like ninja trainer or something like that.
Yeah.
Shinobi, like mentor, sensei.
it's kind of crazy. I don't know. I'll kind of explain how I can kind of see how he actually ended up becoming like
Yeah, give us
fanatic in a way.
his origin story.
Okay, so like I said, I would spend the summers with them, and there was a park. When I tell you that we went to this park every day, I'm talking about every day, bro. Like this is what we did in the summers. We were at that park. That's where you would find us. But we had
The hangout spot.
We had this game called Air Tag, right? And so at a park, like you have like the wood chips or whatever. And it's the actual park itself. Basically, it's tag. You can't touch the ground, so basically you're jumping from like obstacle to obstacle and stuff like that. And that's where like all the athleticism kind of came into play. And now I can kind of see it just transitioning into like his ninja, because it's a lot of broad jumps. It's a lot of, I don't know, being able to have body weight strength, stuff like that. I mean, it's crazy because it correlates directly to our childhood, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really nice to see that, and he loves it. So
And then how do you go from, a lot of us grew up, I think, especially in the 90s, the childhood is way different than it is nowadays, where you're outside running around, you're climbing things, jumping here, there, all over the place. But how did he take it from obviously a very outdoors, adventure-based childhood into, very competitive, a lot of drive and motivation required to be an American Ninja Warrior?
like you said, super fit Actually, he's been pretty fit like all his life. He's got crazy genetics. Actually, both our moms. Like if I were to show you pictures like when they were younger, they were both very fit. Like it's kind of crazy. But
Any particular sport that they did?
no sport really. Well, I guess they kind of. I think my mom danced.
Okay, that's tough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that could be where it comes from. But um, I don't know. He played a couple sports. We played like basketball, football here and there, but not like consistently type of thing. But I mean, he always loved lifting weights. So I mean, he's done that for, let's see, I'm 28, so he's 29. He's probably been doing that consistently for, I don't know, since he got to high school. How old are you when you start high school?
When you start, you're 14, I think.
14?
Yeah, right around there.
Wow, this man's got 16 years.
Yeah, just
16. I'm talking about, oh yeah, like this is ingrained. Like it's not something that um, he ever really wants to miss.
yeah.
Like it's second nature to him by now. 16 years is a long time.
Well, a big thing too is to be a ninja. It's not just about like lifting the most amount of weights. It's about the ratio. Like he's very lean, and so I guess going back to his journey as an American Ninja Warrior, like did you get to see him actually perform? Like
Actually I did, but it was during like COVID, so
oh,
I wasn't able to like travel to like where he was like competing.
like on set.
Yeah, exactly. But we were like zoomed in like a
Okay,
call
okay.
type of thing, so we got to watch it run and stuff like that. And so I actually was technically I was on TV as well because
Nice.
when they aired the episode, they kind of like show us like supporting him and stuff like that. He got a tribute as well. Not a lot of the ninjas really get that. I mean, some of them do, but they get like a little hometown story that they get to kind of like tell the producers and stuff about. So there was actually something special that he did. One of the people that kind of like cast the Ninja Warrior show, he's I think his name was like Stretch or something like that. So he's a tall guy, and
That's
Joe
funny.
likes to jump like over high things, and so one of the I think it was maybe even the first season, the intro to like his run is like him jumping over Stretch, who I don't know, he's probably like 6'5" or no, he's probably like 6'6", I think. So yeah,
Wow,
yeah, he's got bunnies too.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Just and is this a running jump or is this a?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a run, but I mean still.
I've seen videos of him just
Oh,
stand still and he's
yeah, jumping on like boxes.
yeah.
Yeah, no, he's clearing 6 feet now.
That's crazy.
And that was even before like the Achilles injury.
Wow.
And so I think he's had to kind of get back to that, but
Yeah.
I think he's back there now, and he's still trying to get it even higher.
So then, and I guess we can look out for him in the next season.
Yeah, he's gone to a couple of kind of like regional type things.
Okay.
So like it's more so like training in a way, even though it's like a tournament, but you have to really apply to the show, and then they kind of like elect you to get brought back.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I believe he still wants to do it. So,
All right. Well, best of luck. Yeah, that's a big journey, and hopefully he's able to make it. Yeah, my dad went through an Achilles tear, and that's not easy. Like it's a big recovery. So hopefully he's able to bounce back.
yeah,
Literally.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you've got quite the family. We were just talking recently about how your aunt, somehow through connection, maybe through like a cousin from your mom's side or something like that, you were able to find out that she's actually an author.
Yeah.
And you actually gifted me the book. I've got it right here.
Yeah, sure did.
Climbing Out of Fear. So strongly recommend people check it out. And yeah, I guess you I guess tell us a story about how you came across the book and then what your takeaways are.
So, I don't know. It could have been maybe like or actually no, I'd say it was a few years ago. My mom's sister, for Christmas, gifted her, I think it was like a 23andMe, like the DNA type of thing, ancestry stuff. And so she did that, and it came back, and she saw that she had like some distant relatives that like, oh, these people are alive, or I forget like the lineage or whatever, but I think they're on my mom's dad's side. And
Okay.
she saw that she like basically had some more relatives that she didn't know about, and I guess through like whatever she was gifted, so I think it was like 23andMe, they have like a system where you can kind of reach out to those people, and it kind of like it's almost like a gateway to kind of like getting connected with them and everything.
You have to opt in, I imagine.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
And somehow we figured out her name's Ada Robinson, and she got connected with her, and then she found her on Facebook, and one day they were on a call, and now that they talk, every now and then and stuff like that. But she did reach back out recently because we found out that she had got her book published, and so my mom read it, and she's like, "Yeah, I want you to read this."
Hmm.
She gifted me a
Mm-hmm.
book, and I told her, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna suggest other people read it," so I gifted you the book,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, my mom's trying to get a way for us to actually meet her in person and stuff like that. She lives out in Michigan, and yeah, it'd be nice to meet this woman.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a very, very powerful story. I think
Yeah.
there's a lot, of course, that everyone goes through in terms of
Mhm.
trials, and I think hers is a very unique situation, and it's also, I think, a very telling experience. So,
It
I guess,
is.
yeah. Do you want to give like a quick summary, and then, yeah, what did you think?
You know what? I don't know if I'll give a summary because there's I think a lot to kind of unpack with her story, but I will say that if there was ever a time where that you thought that you couldn't get through something, like if you were to read this book, it'd be like, okay, like if this person was able to persevere through something like this, like,
Mm-hmm.
let me just keep that faith in that something it's gonna get better,
Mm-hmm.
that type of thing. Because when I read the book, I was like, wow. I came away from reading after reading the book. I came away. I'm like, this kind of makes sense that she's related to my mom
Mm-hmm.
because they're just so they're like steadfast in things. Like they're like strong headed, and when they put their mind into doing things, there's really like there's no stopping them really.
Mm-hmm.
Like it could be the biggest obstacle in front of them. They're gonna find a way to move it. So, and that's kind of what I took away from her story, being able to go through what it was that she went through, and to be the person that she is today. Um, that's just really telling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess for those that maybe aren't watching, the book is called or titled "Climbing Out of Fear,"
Yeah.
and I think to your point, fear can paralyze, and it can be very difficult to not only assess the situation but also move and act, right? Because
Yeah.
if you're gonna get hit by a car and you're scared, obviously, of the car, you can't just let yourself be hit by the car. You actually have to move and do something about it.
Exactly.
And I think you made a good point there about having faith that there's actually going to be something that comes out of it, that there's a plan, that you're able to actually look for the light,
Yeah.
even in trying circumstances.
Yeah.
And of course, the author Ada Robinson goes through very trying circumstances, but in terms of applying that to ultimately these are perennial issues, right? Like there's always going to be fear, there's always going to be anxiety, there's always going to be something that causes you stress. So I guess as takeaways from this book, like you mentioned, having that faith, what's something that I guess you, in terms of your own journey in figuring out how to apply something like this to your life, what's something that you've noticed either a change in or trying to be more conscious of?
Um, Especially from the aspect of fear and not letting it kind of consume you in a way.
Mm.
So I don't know. It's after reading the book, I've really been kind of conscious of what it is that kind of like causes me the most stress and stuff like that, and kind of looking at ways to be like, oh, like okay, why does this cause me stress, and is it actually something that's keeping me from doing what it is that I actually want to do and stuff like that. So um, I don't know. As far as like it changing like how I go through everyday life, I think it has had some impact, especially because I don't know. you can kind of find yourself making excuses for reasons why you don't do things. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad we're here today to talk about that book because I've had a lot of time to kind of think about how I don't really want that to be who I am, a person that's going to make excuses why I'm not going to do something. So I've been trying to really do the things that I've said that I want to do basically. So even if it's like something small, like this year I said, like I wanted to read a book a month. Like that's pretty small. I mean, there are people who read plenty of books, right?
Right.
But like if you're not a
Jackie,
reader,
for example.
exactly. So like, and I'm not much of a reader, but that's something that I'm gonna keep myself to hold myself accountable for, stuff like that. But that's just something small.
Yeah.
It could be even if it's something related to like I don't know. I mean, I'm a pretty avid gym goer, stuff like that. I mean, I love lifting. I would say I really don't like to go more than 2 days without having gone to the gym. And I'm actually here today so I can have this on record. I was telling myself, I'm like, well, I'm pretty strict about going to the gym. Now, the only thing I need to be strict about is my diet. So now that we're going to have this record.
It's on the record right here. You heard it here
So,
first, folks.
Exactly. You guys are hearing me. And I'm going to make this commitment to myself that by next year, my body's just going to look different. So,
All right.
yeah.
Yes.
That's another thing that kind of holds me back too. I have like, body image stuff, but
Sure.
yeah,
I think that's a very common, unfortunately, in this time that we live in. But yeah, obviously supporting your brother, whatever I can do to help if there's anything, and if it's just accountability, that's what this is for. Yeah.
yeah. You got me started back. I don't know if you remember that. I told you
Yeah.
about a year ago. I had been away from the gym for months, and I think it was like maybe the day before, 2 days before New Year's, and it's actually when Keith was in town, and you texted me. You're like, "Hey, you want to hit the gym tomorrow?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll go."
Yeah.
And Keith was like staying with me or whatever, so he came. He came too.
Yeah. He was doing his track workouts.
Yeah. And yeah, from that point on, I've been back in the gym consistently.
Happy for you, man. No, that's big, and I think like going back to the commitment. Or I guess even further back to what the book is about. It's about fear. I think one thing that's really stood out is it doesn't say that fear is going to go away, or that you'll never be fearful again, or that there's never going to be a trying situation. Obviously, that's not the world we live in.
Yeah.
That's not reality. I think really the takeaway for me was courage and valor in the face of these challenges, and saying, well, this is the hand I was dealt. Am I going to, make the most of it and stand up and, ultimately find, in a way, an opportunity to make myself better through these challenges? And I mean, you see that all the time, right? Going to the gym, very difficult thing to do consistently. A lot of people put their time into their business consistently, right? They put in the hours. A lot of people grind for whatever it is, a hobby or what have you, and they put in the blood, sweat, and tears into that activity or what have you, so that they can find ultimately not only an achievement, whether it's through through competition or something like that, but it's ultimately dominion over your own will, right? It's self-mastery. And that's, I think, what we're called to do, because a lot of people, I think, we know a common trope is the people that have everything given to them in life and never come up against any challenges and never have to actually work, for anything. Yeah, ultimately feel that hollowness of having that opportunity to push themselves taken away from them in a way. It's almost not it's not a loving thing, essentially, to give someone everything in life, and you see that especially with kids as they grow up. So I think the thing that you're doing with your own commitments, and I hope that everyone else has their own commitments too, whether it's personal or relational, to others. Of course, that we have our obligation to parents or spouses or
I've literally only talked about individual ones. Like, I mean, I've just rekindled a connection with my dad too. So
Mm.
even
Yeah,
that too.
tell us about that. I know that that's something I think within our age group is something that's becoming more uh, a bigger topic. You
Yeah.
know, just in not only in relation to connections with reassessing, you know, as we get older, what our relationship with our parents are, but also just out of concern. You know, people, you know, time affects us all,
Yeah.
and our parents are getting older, and we kind of just have to come to that, you know, moment where we say, hey, let me reevaluate this relationship, and what does that look like? So yeah, you mentioned your father. What does that look like?
Yeah. So, and my father's name, his name is Harold, and you might know this, but my middle name's Harold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it had been um, 7 years, I think, since we had spoke.
Mm. Wow.
Um, and there wasn't like anything that really happened, to be honest. It was more so that it was fear that kind of that was holding something over me. I felt like
Mm.
my life wasn't like panning out to like where it should have been, as far as like you know how you are when you want to make your parents proud and stuff like that. And so
Totally.
um, yeah, it was something that just it had like this hold over me for like 7 years, and it pretty much just stemmed from um, like school and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And so um,
So was it from your end that triggered the
yeah,
reconnection? Okay.
well, no, it was more so he was still trying to reach out, but I wasn't. Like I said, I was. It was more so me feeling like what's the word I'm looking for? I would actually I would say probably ashamed. I like I said I felt like I wasn't doing the things that I needed to as far as like
Mm.
you know growing up as a person and maturing and stuff like that. The first thing that actually was the first step to actually doing that was actually finishing school, and so that's actually like a big accomplishment. But when
Yeah,
I
it
did it,
is.
I don't know, I felt like it was expected of me.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like a big deal to me, but my mom and my dad are both proud of that.
Yeah, they should be, and you should
Yeah,
be too. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
it's funny because I have to go back and think about that to tell myself like, oh yeah, like I
Mm.
did that. Technically, I'm a first generation college graduate, so um,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's huge, and congratulations, of
yeah.
course.
I mean, we were there together, so
No, I mean, but that doesn't take away from, you know, just because other people do it, that doesn't take away from the effort that,
exactly.
and I think, well, one, you know, it's a very beautiful thing, you know, to share and say that
Yeah,
this, the way that relationships have been in the past doesn't dictate the way that the relationship needs to look like in the future.
yeah, that is very
And
true.
I think that's something that even I've had to reassess.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes it can be hard to, you know, wonder like, hey, I wish I had these flourishing relationships. I wish, you know, whether it's, you know, other friends or my brother or even my own relationship with my parents, like I wish that they would look a certain way or what have you. Um, and not to say that there's any comparison, because of
Right.
course comparison is, you know, is
Thief
a
of joy.
thief of joy.
Yeah.
But there's also that um, kind of looking in the mirror of, well, is it my own pride that's preventing me from
Exactly.
stepping out of my own way?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's something that I've really learned to kind of cope, not necessarily cope with, but really wrestle with.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's something that you ever like fully eliminate,
Yeah.
right? There's always going to be moments of pride, and whether it's, you know, overinflated ego,
Mm-hmm.
but there's always going to be those moments where you say, well, I deserve this, or it shouldn't be this way. But
Yeah.
the reality is it is, right? You know, a big thing for me, it was just realizing, hey, you know, I was committing all these mistakes and I wasn't very forgiving with myself, but I could be forgiving with others. One, I needed to have that forgiveness for myself, but also realize like, hey, that is who I am.
Yeah.
And then say, you know, I want this flourishing relationship, whether it's with X, Y, or Z person. Is it me that's actually, you know, hindering
Mm-hmm.
it? And so I think I've seen a lot of growth in my own relationships, and it seems like a similar story for you was actually saying, hey, you know, I I'm at a point now where I actually want this, and recognizing for you,
Yeah.
you had that avenue, you had that off ramp to where you were still being contacted, but you were able to say, okay, like let's take this step together.
Exactly. Yeah. It was and it's actually really nice now because I don't know. It's I have like this memory, and now when we talk, he'll ask me things like, "Oh, do you like remember this or whatever?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm almost able to like finish the sentence before he finishes the
Wow.
sentence,
Yeah.
and like it amazes him too because um, 7 years is a long time, and
Mm-hmm.
I actually I feel bad for having 7 years go by, and so I know that I'm gonna let the next 7 years. I know I can't make up for the 7 years that we lost, but
Mm-hmm.
I can try. I
Mm-hmm.
can put the effort in and to just make the next 7 years or however much time that we have left with each other. Because my dad's like he's 40 years older than I am,
Mm-hmm.
so he's almost pushing 70.
Yeah.
Um, so he's an older guy, but yeah, no, we text every day, even if it's just good morning, I love you, have a blessed day type of thing.
Wow.
And I know that he wants to one of the in the near future he wants to have a chess match because he asked me he's like, oh, you remember how to play chess, right? I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember. I think he was the person that taught me like you know which piece moves where and stuff like that, and I never forgot. So yeah, I think we're gonna do that here sometime in the near future. We went to like breakfast not too long ago, about a month ago. So yeah, we've been pretty much been rekindling it,
Mm-hmm.
like as far as a father son connection. But yeah, it's a work in progress.
Yeah, yeah, it's a beautiful thing, and I think, to your point, ultimately there has been that gap, but in a way, you have to wonder now the relationship that you guys have. It seems it's very beautiful. You're almost able to foster this new relationship that maybe you wouldn't have been able to kind of achieve
Yeah,
had there not been that kind of, in a way, sometimes you have to realize what it is that you're missing to fully appreciate it. And obviously we hope that that's not the case, but
yeah,
sometimes you kind of need that little smack in the head to say like, that this is here for you. And the goal is obviously to cherish the things that we do have. But yeah, that sounds amazing, and it seems like it's a really good growth opportunity there for
that's what it is.
for both of you.
Yeah, it is, and that's how he's treating it too. Because I mean, when I told him that, like, I built my PC, he was also amazed by that. Yeah, it's just,
Basically, you're like the next like Zuckerberg or like Bill Gates. Yeah.
something like that. He's like, what? Like, so he's like, well, tell me more about that. So a lot of times, the conversations that we have, it's more so of like, we're finding like small things to kind of talk about, and then we kind of just start elaborating and unraveling more on whatever the subject matter is.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I pretty much try to be on the phone with them at least once a week. And I don't know, it's nice to have both biological parents
Oh yeah.
in your life now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And forgiveness can be so hard because of that pride aspect that we were talking about. And a grudge, I heard this not too long ago, that a grudge is like drinking a poison and hoping the other person dies from it, because it really is a self-inflicting harm. But when you really let that go and have that forgiveness, I mean, the fruits that you're seeing with your father, I mean, that's really beautiful. And the hope is that that continues, and that you have those phone calls. And speaking of phone calls, everyone, first of all, it's Mother's Day weekend.
Oh yeah, sure.
Make sure you call your moms. This is your reminder. Call your grandmas if you still have them. And speak to your grandparents. That's, I think, something that is easy to forget in our generation, because as connected as we are, sometimes it's hard to remember that, hey, we have the ability to call grandparents. We have the ability to call our parents at any moment, and they got the gray hairs, they've got some wisdom in them, and I've been trying to, in a similar way, do some reconnection with my own abuela, and it's been really, it's beautiful to kind of get that perspective, right, and say, hey, I'm 28.
Yeah.
You were 28, right? You were also 29 and 30 and 31, right? And so what can you tell me about what it's been like? And so, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So, yeah, reminder everyone: call your moms, call your grandmas if you've got them, and tell them you love them. Or if you have siblings that are moms as well, tell them too.
Yeah.
And I guess
Or friends too.
yeah, friends.
That too.
Yeah, if you've got I guess with Mother's Day, I know that's coming up. Well, this depending on when this airs. Do you want to give any particular shout out to your mom? She's
yeah.
yeah.
Well, hi mom. I love you. It's funny because her birthday was in April.
Oh, happy belated birthday!
Yeah, and it's actually every year it's been like a running joke or whatever, where it's like, oh yeah, like okay, it goes Christmas and then it's my birthday because my birthday's in March, and then it's 2 back-to-back months like for her that she likes it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's her
Birthday, Mother's Day.
Yeah, and then now it's also Mother's Day. So, but yeah, no, we I know when I was younger, I told my mom this. I said, yeah, when I get older, I think for your birthdays, I'm just gonna start getting you purses because she loves like fashion and shoes and purses and stuff.
She used to work at Walmart, no?
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yep. And so it's so funny. This year was actually the first year that I got her like a Coach like tote bag, right?
Nice.
And or actually I don't know if it was Coach. It may have been Michael Kors. I can't remember. But when it came in, it made her so happy. And it's funny because there was an instant where she knew that I did that because of something that I told her years ago. And she called me and she's like, yeah, when this came in, I was so happy. Like Curtis which is her husband,
Yeah,
was telling me, oh, like, why are you yelling so much? It was because like
you woke the neighbors up. Yeah.
she got a bag and yeah, that was just something I said. I don't know. I probably was like, I don't know, 12 or whatever. But yeah, from now on, her birthday, she's gonna be getting different bags.
Right.
So
wow, that's a beautiful thing to be able to do, and especially as you get older, you say, well, the tides have turned in a way. Yeah, because as we get older, our parents, of course, are going to get older, and they were there obviously for us when. Well, we hope that they were there, as we got older and through our childhood and into our teens and whatnot. But now they're going to be looking to us to help them out, and I think that's right, because ultimately it's an opportunity for us to not necessarily pay back, but to say like, we love you, and this is our way of taking care and showing you gratitude, for bringing us into this world.
Yeah.
So I think that's amazing, and shout out to my mom as well. Love you very much, and it's been it's a wonderful thing to have those connections and to cherish them, and my mom and I have also been able to grow in our relationship. There's also been strong personalities from us both. So I know I'm sure a lot of people can relate with that, but I think, just grow with time. There's, like I said, just because something was a certain way in the past doesn't mean it has to be like that in the future. And, if ultimately what I want is not only a flourishing relationship with my mom, but with everyone else, I just got to let go whatever my ego was or whatever slight I can remember, what have you. That doesn't matter, It's all about looking forward and just growing together. So I think that's ultimately what brings you two closer together, right?
That's very true.
And I think it's beautiful that your mom, I think, made a big sacrifice too in from what you were just mentioning, making that move out of Chicago, right, to where you ended up growing up, going to LT.
Yeah. Exactly.
Shout out to all the LT people that I know that there's a ton of you guys listening because of Jackie.
Yeah, and then we found out that I don't know. When the one time we went to Iowa, I'm like, wait a second, why am I recognizing these people? Why are all of Jackie's friends like from LT? Yeah. So, but that was something that she decided to do. So shout out to my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forever, because they're always there. You need anything, you're sick,
Yeah.
You call them and they'll tell you, or you need a recipe. Yeah, you need whatever it is.
Yeah.
Guidance. They're there. That's what they're like waiting for it,
Yeah.
basically.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah. The mama bear.
Yeah, yeah, they know it all. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, well, I guess another thing, circling back to the question of faith, I think something that requires a lot of faith nowadays is being a Bears fan, being a Patriots fan. So with the draft, that just came by, what have you got, in terms of either predictions? What do you think is gonna, shape up both for the Bears that, looks like they're gonna be staying in Chicago, and unless anything changes, and then of course Patriots. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh, okay.
And of course the Patriots that they haven't really recovered since Brady left. So
Oh, one I can tell you. Speaking of the Patriots, there will be no recovering when you go from having the goats
yeah, yeah, yeah.
to you not even really even knowing who the quarterback is. I mean, we're in between Mac Jones and Zappy,
Yeah, Zap. Yeah.
whatever his name was. So, and then they draft quarterback named Drake May. So, I think that's who they drafted.
And so you're thinking as a Patriots fan, because you're primarily a Patriots fan first. Yeah, yeah. Which was before they went on their tear or after?
Yeah, that was before. I always associate so I'm all over the place when it comes to teams. I really don't have no Chicago loyalty to Chicago.
It's hard to Chicago.
Yeah.
Bears are trash.
Yeah.
Sox are on track for being the worst MLB record in history. Yeah.
When people ask me, like, oh, like you Sox or Cubs, I tell them, I'm like, oh, if I, because I don't really care for baseball, but I'm like, if I did, I'd be a Sox fan. I'm almost ready to be on the fence and be like, yeah, I'm a Cubs fan. It's so bad.
Yeah, they're so it's tragic. If Chicago had like a good sports team, this city would be on fire, but
Oh man.
unfortunately that's not the case. But anyway, yeah, you were saying so Patriots fan, but how did that come to be and
Yeah, associated with the moments I start kind of becoming like a fan of the sport type of thing. So when I started watching basketball, it was, my mom. Another thing, my mom is big into sports too. She actually is the person that got me into sports.
wow,
She,
okay.
she knows a lot about sports, and so I started watching, and I believe I don't. It was probably around. Let's see, the Lakers won, and the first time I saw them win, it was probably like somewhere around like '08 to like 2010, somewhere around there. They played like the Celtics. That was kind of when I was really starting to like, okay, watch basketball and digest it and stuff like that. Kind of even started playing.
Was this Kobe with the fro?
This was 24 Kobe.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, this was that. This was Bean Bryant.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay.
Ball fade. So, yeah, I remember watching and me figuring out like, okay, this is my favorite player. Okay, my association to the team has something to do. It's always going to lead back to a player. So, like I said, for basketball, it was Kobe Bryant, so that's why I'm a Lakers fan. And then,
I see.
yeah, for the Patriots, I had a very like vague early memory though, but I was very young, and I believe I have an uncle who I could just remember him talking about Randy Moss.
Mm-hmm. No ring?
Yeah, but Randy Moss was still that guy. Brady would just toss it down there like Moss is down there some
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
type of thing. And so yeah, I remember that being a thing, and then that's just kind of what I stuck with.
But Moss was primarily a Niners, no?
No, I don't. Moss played for a bunch of different teams.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
And he played for the Vikings as well too.
Okay, okay, okay.
But yeah, no, he was around the league. But there, like I said, there was an early memory when he was with the Patriots.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know he was with the Patriots too. Yeah, okay.
And that's where my association with the Patriots being like my team. And that was, like I said, I was young. Like, I mean, they weren't really. They may have won. I can't remember. The earliest one I remember them winning was when I think we were in college.
Yeah, I mean, I remember you were locked in on that chair. That chair was
So
when I remember you were walking around with that Patriots. The beanie. Yeah.
With the ball on top.
Yeah. That was your hat. So was that their first big win? I don't. I felt like they had won the Super Bowl before that. No.
They may have, but I mean, like more so where I was like fully like football is like what I'm watching.
Okay.
Football season type of thing. That was probably like the first time because all the other times people were winning like Super Bowl and stuff like that. It was more so like I was watching because it was Super Bowl.
Sure.
But when I started like actually like liking football more and more, like okay.
Yeah. What season was it when Brady had that foul that didn't get called? I think it was against the Eagles, the tuck.
Yeah, the tuck rule.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. I don't care.
Your answer is
Yeah.
Brady won that match.
Yeah.
Brady won that match, and that's all that matters.
It's
Yeah.
like whatever. Yeah.
Do you see the roast?
Oh, I saw highlights of it, and my mom was telling me she's like, "You gotta watch this."
Did she see the whole thing?
Oh, I think she watched the whole thing. Yeah.
That's
She's like,
yeah.
Even Bill was there. I'm like, oh yeah, I saw some highlights with Bill.
Really? He was there? Bill Belichick? Yeah. Oh, I didn't see him.
Oh,
Creech was showing me.
oh yeah.
He was showing me some of the highlights, and he was. Yeah, I mean, they were laying in on him.
Cooking.
Yeah.
Actually, everybody was getting cooked.
Yeah.
To be honest, everybody got cooked. So, I mean, I kind of like what Netflix is doing with this whole like. It was like a whole. I think it's still going on. I think it's till like the 14th or something like that.
They're roasting multiple people, or
Yeah,
is
it's
it?
like a comedy fest.
So it's starting with Brady, or have there been other people?
Well, not like roasts, but so like it kicked off with, or maybe I don't know if it kicked off with this, but the day before the Brady one, I watched live. I watched Cat Williams do his live Netflix special. So
Cat Williams,
yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
Still around.
yeah, it's still funny. Yeah,
Okay. So you ended up watching, or you haven't seen it
I
all?
haven't seen it all yet, but I've seen some of the highlights. So, but I do think I will. I'll probably watch it sometime this weekend.
Okay.
Actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it's brutal. I was watching and I was like, that's
Oh.
crazy that they're
I'm talking about. I'm hearing people say like, "Oh, this is old school comedy," where it's like no holds barred type of thing.
Oh yeah. But I think if I recall, the Creech was explaining that they had some restrictions, like
there was some.
of course the children. I think that like that's good, like
Yeah.
off limits.
Yeah.
But then Kraft. So who is this guy?
Oh, Robert. Yeah, he's the
Why is he off limits?
probably because he's a rich white man. Probably. That's probably what it is. And because of the whole thing that he got,
Sure. Yeah.
like the middle of or whatever. That's probably what it was. Because yeah, I think we talked about how someone said something about Brady. He actually got up to the guy and said, "Don't say that shit again."
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, Robert Kraft's like the owner of the
Okay.
Patriots. So, but yeah, he was there for all of Tom's reigns, basically. So,
No longer there?
no, he's still there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, of course, it ain't the same.
Sure. Okay. Now, I guess, we're going to be wrapping up soon, but what are your thoughts on the Drake, Kendrick beef? What, yeah, who's winning? And I guess you have like a short summary about what's played out so far. Because there might be more that comes after this podcast. You never know.
Yeah, that is true. But it's looking like it is kind of subsiding. I've seen, and I've been pretty like up to date on
Locked
this.
in. Yeah.
I have there's a YouTube reactor that I watch. His name's No Life Shack. I've been watching.
Oh, I've seen him. Yeah. You sent. Yeah.
It's like music reactions, and man, he's been on it. He's been up at all hours of the night. Pretty a lot of the reactors have, but I'm on the side of Kendrick. I mean, I'm still gonna listen to both their music. I mean, as far as if we're talking about like this or whatever, I mean, I think Kendrick made probably the best song out of all that came out. So, I mean, I don't even care that he got baited about some misinformation or stuff that just wasn't factual or whatever. I don't even care because he came out with a song that people could literally dance to.
And then you had. I'm assuming you're not referencing then just like the cherry on top, which was Metro, just the BBL Drizzy.
I didn't even get to that.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because in our group chat, I just saw that Ahmad was saying like, yeah, I think Kendrick's up now because for the last 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm starting to see that name kind of like everywhere. Like people are changing their usernames on like games and stuff to BBL Drizzy.
I was playing Smash, and there was I ran into BBL Wizzy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah.
And I guess for context, Wizzy is like one of the top Smash players. So yeah,
So,
they're jumping on the bandwagon across all games. Yeah.
fast with it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm talking about, like the day after I'm seeing BBL Drizzy as usernames. So,
Yeah.
wow, that's crazy. But yeah, no. Yeah, I'm Team Kendrick, but
We're gonna need to have to get Dalton on because he's like number one Drake apologist. Well, after what's his name?
academics.
Yeah, academics. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I've seen some videos of like top glaze moments, and then people in the comments are like, academics taking notes right now. Yeah, talking about like what the next Drake drop is gonna look like. But no, yeah, Dalton, of course. Love the guy, but it's looking tough for Drake right now. So we'll see we'll see if something might come out. Something might turn the tide, but right now it's looking like K-Dot is gonna be coming out on top.
Yeah, that's very true.
And I think Kanye tried to get himself inserted into the beef somehow because he made like just a random drop.
Yeah,
He just like dropped his own diss track to like nobody. Yeah.
well, it was kind of Drake a little bit, but yeah, he did bring back Sean John, so I thought that was cool.
With the beat or with what?
He had mentioned something about him doing something in a Sean John tank top. So
okay.
It's like a very old school, like clothing brand.
Yeah. Well, I guess before I forget, you see anything about the P Diddy story, like the Puff Daddy, and how they were saying like, who knows like what happened in the Puff Daddy house or whatever, because they were saying some crazy things that were happening, and it looked like it might be like a big drop, but we haven't heard anything since.
Yeah, you know what? That's true. I haven't.
Kind of went like pretty hush right away, like.
But I think because like this whole beef thing kind of came.
Oh, you think that's what? I don't know. I feel like it's.
But also, yeah, I haven't really heard anything more about the Diddler, so. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on with it anymore. But I do know that there is a new term that came out for it, and it's No Diddy. So.
Okay. Yeah. That reminds me that I was watching this guy who said he's like a substitute teacher. He goes around different schools and he likes to drop just random terms that he coins, and then he tells the students, "Hey, like this other school, like they're using like, oh, that's pebbles, or like, oh, that's whatever, like that's mustard or what have you," and then he just like essentially gaslights the students into believing that they're not up to speed, and then he'll like hear the students when he comes back like they're using those terms just because he like baited them into saying like, oh yeah, you're not keeping up with it's crazy how we like get caught up in trends.
That is true.
I mean the environment that we're in matters a lot. So I guess one last question then. This was not something I was thinking, but what are your thoughts on the TikTok ban? Are you on TikTok a lot, and what's your thought on if it goes away?
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm kind of
like, I guess, are you in favor of it going away, or are you against?
I will say I am. I'll be indifferent type of thing.
You got to make a call.
Okay, so if you're saying I gotta make one,
yeah.
I want to keep it.
Okay. So okay.
Yeah, but like.
You're not like passionate about it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, there are reasons like for people wanting to keep it, and then there are probably some other reasons that it should be banned or whatever. I'm probably sure it has something to do with like security and stuff like that.
Right.
It being like a foreign app or something like that. So all the security things, more stuff about that stuff than I do. But I mean, I do enjoy the cake, like. And I don't do it a lot. Like
you swipe.
Yeah, I swipe. But it's funny because I enjoy everything that comes across my timeline. So my For You pages, I'm like, oh, I can watch this. I'll digest this, and then on to the next type of thing.
Is your algorithm like primarily comedic, or you got like a variety, like sports, comedy, news,
gaming, lifting? Honestly, it's literally cultivate. Like it's literally me. Like it's
crazy.
Yeah, it is, but I also enjoy it. So,
You're like, but it's working.
yeah,
So
I mean, like, man, they got it right.
yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's funny because I know Creets. He loves to talk about his algorithm.
Oh.
Anytime anyone says that anyone says that their algorithm is funny, I guarantee you Creets is going to challenge that and say that his is funnier. Yeah, because the things that come up on this man's timeline are it's because not only is it in English, not only is it in Spanish.
I do have some Spanish.
No, but he gets French too.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
so he's got the trilingual. Yeah, no, it's like a trifecta of comedy. It's no, his timeline is unique. Yeah, so all right. Well, I guess we're coming up on time. Is there anything else you want to share? Any shout outs or any closing remarks? Anything like that?
Um,
Anything I might have missed? Anything that
no,
you want people to know about?
I think we touched upon everything.
You got any projects coming up? Any plans?
Actually,
Yeah.
yeah. Another thing too is like I have a lot of like hobbies and stuff like that that I find myself like doing this more than doing this hobby more than another hobby type of thing, right? So right now I'm like kind of back into like gaming a lot, but I think I'm going to be transitioning as we're seeing like the beautiful weather and stuff like that. I think I'm going to make it my mission, and I don't care because I saw Jackie doing it. She's got like the little mini camera.
The Fujifilm?
Yeah, I'm literally I don't care. I'm gonna be taking my camera around just to functions.
Mm-hmm.
Mine or something. Yeah, yeah. Just you gonna see me there with my camera because I mean I just want to take photos.
Yeah, no, the memories are.
Yeah.
I know when Jackie brings her, I think it's a Sony. When she brings that to functions, you can just tell not only the quality, but it's just a fun thing to have. And those memories really are impactful when you look back. And even this podcast, right? Like I think there's something to be said about just capturing in the moment what we looked like, what our thoughts were, what our voices sounded like, and what our problems are. Like 10 years from now, we might have completely different circumstances. We might look different. I mean, we definitely are going to look different.
Oh yeah.
So, hopefully we make it to 28 or 38, right?
Yeah.
So we're pushing 40 in 10 years, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the memories thing is, I think, it's a beautiful thing to capture. And it's just one of those things that requires a little bit of extra effort, but it pays off majorly.
Yeah.
Huge dividends. So, I guess unless there's anything else that you had,
No.
a good place to wrap up.
Episode 1.
Yeah, episode number 1.
Episode 1.
Be sure to drop a like, comment, subscribe. I don't know where I'll be uploading this through, but the plan is to have this up on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, anywhere else that you can find a podcast or video. And let us know what you think. Drop some feedback, and I'd love to have you on because whoever listens to this podcast is going to be someone near and dear to one of us or both.
Yeah.
So all feedback is welcome, and thanks for coming on. Love you, brother.
Yeah. It was nice.
It was a good one. So take care, everyone, and happy Mother's Day. Cheers.